All right, everyone, welcome back to another week of ranking videos. Last week we looked at some teams. To begin it all, this week we're going to look at teams number 69 through 60, where they ranked in last year's Summer Classic. I go through each year and I kind of rank the teams so I can get ready for the new year. And in the last 3 or 4 years, I've decided to publish my little findings to you guys, so we can debate them, talk about them, and see improvement over teams each year. Last week, we saw the Raptors at number 75. This is Nate Fornes' team from Spokane. Team B Better, Celeste Lopez and Kyle's team from Juneau, Alaska, came at 74. Number 73, Ryan Horner's No Glove, No Love. Number 72, Travis Smith's team, Wish You Were Beer, had a little more success last year than their first year. Quit Your Pitching came in at number 71. This was Lisa's team from Kalispell. And Evan Goetz Racing, who'll be back this year, Kara Ter's team. Okay, that means we jump right in at number 69, and that's going to be Solid Rock Automation. This is J.W. Cheney's team from Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. This was their second tournament appearance. Always good to have J.W.'s team out here. The year before, they were ranked 76, so they moved up to 69, so we saw some improvement from the Solid Rock team. Very solid, very solid. They played out a Group Q, where they went 1-1-1. They took on multiple scoregasms, Tony Heisman's team from Coeur d'Alene, and they beat them on a Friday night game in the mud, in the very big mud. They played in a swamp, and you can kind of see from this picture they're still sitting in the swamp. 12-10, they won that game. Then they played Balls and Dolls, a very competitive team from Spokane, Dustin Collier's team. They played them to an 8-8 tie, and then they played the Master Batters, Colton Howard's team, where they lost to them 17-13. That put them in the aluminum division, where they played Wish You Were Beer in the first round, where they pulled out a win 13-12. They took on Sage Creek in the quarterfinals and fell in a very good game 11-10. We'll see if JW's team is back this year or not, but number 69, solid. We move right quickly into number 68, the Spokane Dirtbag. This is Jessica Schulter's team. Sorry if I mispronounced that, Jessica, from Spokane, Washington. This is their first ever tournament appearance, so we're glad to have them come over from the Spokane city. They played the Huboffs Landscaping on Friday night, where they lost in the mud 9-2. Then they played TLM, Threat Level Midnight. We'll talk about this team a lot later in the tournament. Wow, what a team. But they lost to them 23-0, but as we'll find out later on, that's no disgrace. That team was stacked. Mojo then was the next team they played, also another good team. They held their own with them, 14-7, where they came up a little short. That put them in the aluminum division, where they took on the Raptors. We talked about the Raptors last week, Nate Fornes' team. They beat them 13-3 to advance to the quarterfinals, where they played Balls and Dolls. We've talked about them a lot in the last 2 weeks. Dustin's team took them down 15-14. So Spokane Dirtbags, I'm not sure if they're back in this year. We haven't heard from Jessica yet, but we'll see. Hopefully we have them back. That was their first year in the tournament. Spokane Dirtbags. Number 67 is an old friend here. Those guys from Missoula, Montana. Used to be Pots and Pans. Used to have a couple different other teams. Ashley Nichols has taken over the team from Jessica Winters. Used to be Lee Siddle years ago. They ranked 66th the year before. Last year, they ranked 67th. This is their 13th year in the tournament. So, wow, what just great to have them over each year from Missoula. They played out a Group P, where they took on Sage Creek products and beat them 13-5. Then they took on they lost to Sage Creek, sorry, 13-5. But then they took on Evan Goetz Racing. They beat them, they 10-run them 20-10. And then they lost to Base Invaders in a Saturday night game 23-5. That put them in the aluminum division, where they took on Team B Better from Alaska. We were able to outlast them 12-9 to move into the semifinal or the quarterfinals against the CdA Blue Sox. We'll talk about a lot about them later on. They squeaked by, and that was the Blue Sox thing all year, squeaking by. They beat them, they lost to them 14-13. Hopefully Ashley's back this year. I think she will be. Why not? So number 60. We continue our journey at number 66. We just talked about them a little bit ago. Sage Creek. This is Melissa Brandon's team from Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. This is their 8th year in the tournament. Wow, they've been in here quite a bit, so it's always great to have them. They ranked 74th in 2023. They moved up to 66 this last year. They played out a Group P, and they beat those guys. We just talked about them. They beat them 13-5. They took on the Base Invaders. Kim Nelson's team had a great run on the Friday, Saturday. They lost to them 2-17. And then they beat Evan Goen Racing 18-9. That put them in the aluminum division, where they took on, after going 2-1 in Group P, that put them in the aluminum division. They took on Solid Rock Automation, JW's team, barely getting by JW's team in a great game, 11-10. That put them up against Balls and Dolls. This is a rematch of a couple years ago in the championship game. Balls and Dolls took this one as well in the semifinal, 16-10. Sage Creek looks like they'll be back again this year. We always love having Melissa and all her friends out. Number 60. funny. We talked about a couple teams already that have been in the tournament a long time. This team, no team has been longer than Spades Construction, number 65. They've been here since the very beginning. Rebecca Roberts' team from Sandpoint, Idaho. This will be their 15th tournament. They've played all 14. Let's see. They ranked 73rd the year before. They moved up to 65. They played out of Group C where they won that group. They beat Team Be Better 12-6, and then they lost to the CdA Blue Sox 10-14. But then they beat Wish You Were Beer 6-5. Wow, that's a pretty defensive game right there. So that put them in the aluminum division where they made another little run. In the quarterfinals, they took on Evan Goetz Racing. They beat them 19-13. Then in the semifinals, they played the Blue Sox, who we just talked about a little bit ago. They lost to them 11-13. So the Blue Sox, as we'll see, we'll talk about them a little bit later. Just a lot of nip and tuck games. But they won Group C, so that's good. So they took home a little hardware, so that's good to see. We're looking forward to having Rebecca and everybody back. Like I said, they're one of 3 teams to play in every tournament. So thank you, Rebecca. Number 65. Okay, another team we've mentioned quite a bit already, number 63. This is Balls and Dolls. Dustin Collier's team from Spokane, Spokane, Washington. This is their 5th year in the tournament. They've had some great success in the tournament. Ranked 71 the year before, ranked 64 this year. They played out of Group Q, where they went 0-2-1. They played Master Batters. This is Colton Howard's team, where they lost to them 15-6. Solid Rock Automation, we talked about JW's team already with an 8-8 high, and then they outlasted Tony Highsmith's multiple scoregasms they lost to multiple scoregasms 20-17. So they went 0-2-1. Some close games though. They put them in the aluminum division where they made a run. They beat Quit Your Pitching 15-14 in the first round. Then they beat Spokane Dirtbags 15-14 as well in the quarters. Then they got by Sage Creek in the semifinals 16-10. And then they played the CdA Blue Sox and fell to them in the very last inning 9-8. There were some pretty close, contentious games going on. It was a fun tournament for Dustin to go through, but second place, number 64, Balls and Dolls had a great run last year. So did the CdA Blue Sox. Their best showing ever in the Summer Classic. This team was ran by Sarah Scott and Norman Ettinger. This is their 4th year in the tournament. They were 70th last year. They played 63rd this last year and 70th the year before. They played out of Group C where they went 1-0-2. Kind of weird. So they tied Wish You Were Beer 9-9. They beat Spades Construction 14-10, and then they tied Team Be Better 8-8. This close game thing that you hear will continue to go during the group play in aluminum division. They barely got by those guys 14-13 in a come from behind win. They outlasted Spades Construction 13-11, and then in the championship game, this was a great game to watch. Another come from behind win to nip them 9-8 in a walk-off win. So that gave the CdA Blue Sox their first ever championship in the aluminum division, despite the blurry picture up here. So congratulations to them. They'll be back again this year. Number 63, the Blue Sox, the aluminum division winner. Okay, now we move to number 62. This is the 208 Outlaws. It used to be Cleats and Cleavage. Carter Lopez's team from Kamei, the only team from Kamei, Idaho. This is their 2nd year in the tournament. First year, they finished 68th. They move up to 62nd. So they played out of Group L, where they went 1-2. They took down the Raptors 18-5, and then they fell to Wasted Potential, Carl's team, but in a very good game, 16-15. And in another close game, they played Chantel's team from Coeur d'Alene, and fell to them 17-12. So that put them in the nickel division. This is our first team we're going to be able to talk about in the nickel division. The year before they played in the aluminum, so they did move up a division where they took on Stacy Zagora's Sweet Spot team. For those of you who remember last year, Sweet Spot had a really good run, I think, in the nickel division as well, where they fell to them 14-4. But this team, this is one of my, I've been able to chat with these guys a little bit. They're a very fun team. They won the Sportsmanship Award the year before. So we hope they come back again. The 208 Outlaws, Carter Lopez's team from Kamei. Another fun bunch checks in at number 61. The Misfits from Wenatchee. They used to be called the Capybararas, which I thought was one of the best names in the tournament. But they've changed over to the Misfits, like I said, from Wenatchee. This is their 2nd year in the tournament. The first year they finished 53rd. Zoe Lyons' team, they fell to 61 this year. They played out of Group S, where they went 1-2. They fell to Pitch Please 12-18. This is the old 406 Warrior team from Missoula. Then they lost to Bat Around, Stacy Stevens' team, which had a great tournament. They lost to them 14-4. And then they beat Short Strokes, Chadley Miller's team. That's a good quality win, as you'll see later on when we talk about Short Strokes in a few weeks. They beat them 18-6. That put Zoe and the Misfits in the nickel division, where they took on the Ballaholics. This used to be the old Oddballs team, Sydney's team. In the first round, they fell to them 13-5. We haven't heard yet if Zoe's team's going to be back this year. Hopefully, Zoe's team. Hopefully they are. Numbers 61 Miss. All right, my friends, we come to the very last team this week, the number 60 team, Master Batters. This is Colton Howard's team from Coeur d'Alene. This is their first year in the tournament. First year, I think, playing league too. They played out a Group Q where they went 2-1, so they had a pretty good first year. They played Balls and Dolls. We've talked about them. They beat them 16-5. They played Solid Rock Automation, JW's team. They had a pretty good tournament. They beat them 17-13. Then they fell to Multiple Scoregasms, 17-12. That put them in the nickel division, where they took on a short strokes team that has historically played really good in the first round, but always have come up short. This year, Chadley Miller's team came out on fire, took them down 20-7. This is kind of probably avenging some very close first round losses that short strokes have had in the past. But Colton Howard's team is on the list this year, so we're looking forward to having Colton's team back out here. I've played them in league a couple times. A really good team. Number 60 Master Batters. Looking forward to seeing everybody next week where we go through teams number 59 through 50. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next